Watch day. This is Toksa Hour. I am Maggie Ross, and I am live from Porcupine, South Dakota, along the Porcupine Creek where the porcupines roam. Yep. Better grab your coffee. We're going to be in for a good one. I have some pretty exciting stuff to show you. I wanted to, I didn't know where exactly in the show, but what do you think is in this cup? I mean, in this cup. It's a cup. It's in this box. It's a cup. So this is what your gift is gonna look like. I'm so sorry. It's been sitting in a big box for a couple months and I haven't done anything. So this is what the coffee cup looks like. So again, I'm reminding you, give me your mailing address so I can get it. And then on the back, it has a saying, another little saying, and it says, "We are live. This is Toksa Hour, trolling you from Porcupine Creek." So that's the cup. That's the cup. So I ordered some for those of you that have continued with me onto YouTube and helping me build a new platform because it's very um it's different. I guess I should say it's different because we built a large platform on Facebook, but as y'all know, I left Facebook. I didn't want to be a part of Facebook anymore because I don't like Mark Zuckerberg and all of the things that he's doing. Like, it's just it's unfortunate. Like, here I am doing all of this research and building my knowledge base and to find out that a good many of these platforms are built by the CIA. So Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of his money comes from the CIA to build Facebook so that they can monitor people. And so social media sites, many of them are built that way so that they can surveillance people on the internet. And the main reason they went after TikTok is because they didn't have the control to do that. The CIA and whatever, they didn't, Mossad, the Israeli government, they didn't have the control to do that. And so that's why they went after them. And then that billionaire guy purchased TikTok. So I think everybody's looking to get off TikTok here. January 20th, I think, is when it's officially becomes Oracle's property stuff. So really grotesque, to find out what our government is really doing. And as Native people, like, we already know this. A lot of times we already know, like, people get shocked that there's a file or there's something, right? That there's so, like they were spying on them. Even Congress, remember, Senate got mad and were mad at the feds because the FBI under, I think it's Jack Smith, started investigating or using, like tracking them on their phones. And so that's really a big, big, big thing, what we're doing with our smartphones. Because like a computer, internet, stuff like that based off of your laptop or your desktop, that information is much harder to have free access to. And so the feds actually have to go through a process of warrants and whatnot. While they can get those warrants where they have a special judge to go to, but still they have to do that. With our cell phones, we give all our information to all of these app providers, and so the federal government just goes and buys the information from them. And so they're finding that, like, our geolocation, when we're doing that, they're tracking us. They know where we're at. They're able to take that information and they're able to follow our whole day, what we're doing, where we're at, who we're talking to, our text messages, all of those things. Like, there's no privacy and no data privacy. So we just give our data specifically to these apps and let them do and choose whatever they want. And so we might think a app is really cool to have, but then it might be a CIA or a Mossad app, and we don't even know it. And we downloaded it, and now they know all of our business. And so they don't need to go get a warrant for that. They just buy it from the apps, the people who own the apps. And so we have to be smarter. And I think also like our governments have to be smarter. Like they need to be protecting our information. And they need to be creating laws to protect our information instead of just willingly letting us be a surveillance state. And this is like one of the biggest things that's going on, right? In in our news today is the past since October 7th, 2023, the world has pretty much awakened to what is happening in Palestine and why. Like we all know now that all of our governments support this. Why? Is because the Israeli government is using their surveillance techniques and technology on the Palestinian people. And that is what they're selling to all the other countries to demonstrate. So the Palestinian people in Gaza and West Bank, they are the guinea pigs to the technology. And it's really, really interesting because um, there is this deep understanding that's coming that we are not free. Like the United States, we have this big argument and stuff about freedom of speech. Well, we are not free. And all the governments in the world, the citizens of those governments, you know, if they're a democracy, they're starting to realize they're not free. And nobody's fighting it. Nobody's fighting the oppression. No, the only ones that are the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people are the only ones that are standing and sacrificing themselves to free the world. And we're not even getting behind that. I mean, what is going on? It's it's really alarming. It's very alarming. Like we're not getting involved. We are not I'm, whoops, I'm trying to do I forgot I needed to send some people want me to send the link to Toksa Hour because they go to YouTube and they can't find it. And so I need to do that real quick. So bear with me, then I'll get fired up again. Mm, mm. Yeah, I most definitely need to get me like an assistant, somebody that will come and volunteer and help me send out notifications to emails and to text to people's text messages. Because uh anyways, yeah. I don't know if I have enough coffee, people. I think I need to get more coffee because this is a rugged show. No. Okay, so as I was saying, like that reality of the situation is where we know that the surveillance of the American people is a real thing. And we know that the billionaire class is controlling all of this. So the technocrats, they're controlling this. And you know how Donald Trump is supposedly building a new wing remodeling and gonna put a big giant $1 billion dance hall or whatever, ballroom. Well, I've been following this lady on Substack, and she is talking about how he is not doing that. They are not doing that. What they are building, and she goes back to compare to what Allison or Alice or whatever the heck his name is did, the owner of Oracle, what he did in Israel, where they dug this big, big, giant tunnel, ground hole in the ground, and they built their AI system and underground. And it cost $300 billion. And that's what this is looking like it is. And so she has all her receipts. And I was reading that and I thought, wow, like this is what's happening. So the governments and these billionaire people know that their technology is subjected to warfare. And so by burying it underground, then it can survive any attack. And so the AI systems would survive any attack. The crazy thing would be, what if nobody survived? What if only like 1 million people survive all of this and there's no smartphones, like there's none of that. And then like what's gonna happen? Like the cultural anthropologists or archaeologists or whatever, they're going to in 1,000 years or 20,000 years or whatever come upon by digging the earth and find that they have these whatever kind of technology that they don't understand in the ground in the United States and in Israel and Iran and Australia and Europe, and all these different places, Germany, Russia, like everything's underground. It really does make me think about like our creation story where we say we come out of Wind Cave. It makes me think about that. It's very interesting that we all go underground to try to survive or something. I don't know. Excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. Okay, I got it. Uh, anyway, so yeah, like there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in our world. And my thing is not working. So hmm, as we're looking at all of this stuff, like what is going on and what happens. And so we know that we are a surveillance state. We know that. And we all willingly give our stuff up um on our phones. We willingly do that. We give our stuff. But I tell you, I still have a landline, an old one too. So when electricity goes off, you could still call me and my phone's gonna ring. I used to have one of those. So if I could show you here. Yeah, see. So I used to have the wireless or what cordless phones, but then I keep losing them, so I just went back. And this is actually my mom's. My mom gave that to me, so I'll probably have it forever until I die. My mom's phone. Shoot. So when we think about these things, we look at like power. Who holds it? Like who checks it? Like who has like when the United States government or the Constitution, the founders, whatever you want to call them, created this Constitution, they came through a bunch of things and talked about federal the power of the federal government and the power of state government. So there's this back and forth that went, and the power of the people. So what are the things then that we have? How do we hold power in check? Because right now we are paying the price. We are paying the price for the abuse of power. And the whole system is siding with power. The whole system. We've heard when Donald Trump went to go and attack Venezuela and kidnap or hijack or whatever he did, their leader and his wife, Maduro and his wife, and bring them here and put them in jail in New York City. Well, John Thune, Dusty Johnson, and Mike Rounds are applauding him. Yay, yes. Let's do this. It needed to be done. And now Trump is talking about taking Greenland. So he wants to take Greenland. And I think he's going to do something to Israel because he's talking about Gaza. Trump wants control of Gaza. And so in Venezuela, they have crude oil. In Greenland, they have minerals. In Gaza, they have natural gas. And then in Iran, what do they have? They have oil, but they also like I don't know if you guys ever gone down the rabbit holes. I've gone down the rabbit holes over these things with Iran and the Middle East, but they talk about Iran having a Stargate. And that's actually what Israel wants is this Stargate. And so, oh, here comes my granddaughter, my Takoja, just crying. See if she comes over. We have kittens, and they do her in. She don't leave them alone, so they just rough her up, scratch her up. So, oh, she must have solved it because she's not coming. Anyways, so when we think about what it is that's happening and how Trump and how Congress and how the Senate is giving him so much power to go ahead and do this. They're not even checking him. They're not even saying, hey, wait a minute, you didn't even come to us and talk to us about it. You're supposed to come to the Senate. Nothing. Everyone's just like, yeah, we love it. Great. And then Trump says he has $100 billion. $100 billion to give to Venezuela to rebuild, or not to rebuild, but to build their oil infrastructure. 100 or 300, what was it? $300 billion, yeah, that he's going to give to them. And then had a meeting, and Exxon is like, we don't think that we're in, like we don't want to do this. So I don't know what's going to happen. So Trump got mad and said, oh, I'll get somebody else to do it. There's like all these other people. So all of it is like Exxon doesn't want to put up any money. None of them want to put up their own money. So what it is they want the federal government to put up the money. So Trump has to use the taxpayer dollars to give to those billionaire a-holes to go and rebuild or to build the oil infrastructure in Venezuela. And so what they're going to end up doing is putting that country and their people impoverished. They're going to impoverish them. And Trump is a racist. So you look at Venezuela, and most of those people are brown. I mean, yes, they're like the United States. They also have immigrants, people who went there and destroyed everything. That's what I say about all of this. Like, this is all colonization. So it's all the white, the Washichu people that are benefiting throughout in every one of these things. So the genocide of Gaza, who's benefiting? Israel. Who are all those people? Those people are European Jewish people, but then they don't even, majority of those people don't even practice Judaism. They don't believe in it, but they want to claim ethnic Jewish. They're ethnically Jewish because they're not practicing their belief system. They're atheists, but they want the protection of anti-Semitism. So they want to say we are um, ethnic Jews. And so I always say that. Do we get to be ethnic Lakota people? Am I ethnically Oglala? Do we get to say that? I don't know. It This identity stuff is crazy. So Israel had to go back and say, we were given this land 3,000 years ago or whatever, you know? And it's like, no, like the people 3,000 years ago are the same, were the ancestors of the Palestinian people that are there right now. You guys 3,000 years ago were somewhere in Europe, because you didn't have those kind of state identities yet. So maybe um you were a part of something else. Maybe you had your own tribal group or whatever, but you weren't in Israel. And so Judaism then creates this, the people use Judaism as the way, and then the sympathy, and then they say the Torah and the Talmud, and they do all of this conversation about it. And it's really interesting. Like I probably know way more than I need to about on this topic. Way more than I need to. But I had to go figure it out because like my understanding of it from being a historian and studying history, looking at it, was kind of very confusing to today, like what is happening. And so I had to go down the rabbit holes and ask questions and look for the answers. Since 2023, October 7th, I've been doing that. I have a lot of Palestinian friends, Palestinian American friends. I listen to people in Gaza every day on TikTok. I get in their lives. I listen to what they're talking about, their news. I have great friends over there. It's amazing. And so here we are. Why am I still talking about it? Well, there's a lady in Minnesota named Renee Nicole Good. And she's a Washichu woman. She's a Washichu woman. And she was murdered. She was murdered by ICE, an ICE agent in Minneapolis. And I think his name was Jonathan Ross. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Probably relative. Just kidding. Yeah, I hope not. Jonathan Ross, I think they said he's from Alabama. And crazy, he's married to an immigrant. But so then they try to create this narrative. So if you can think about, if you were watching anything about Gaza in the past 3 years, anything about Gaza, and you would see like something horrific happen. And then Satanyahu, Shitnyahu, Netanyahu, Benjamin Mikowski, or whatever his real name is. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't like the guy, so I should not be saying things like that. But anyways, that guy, he comes out and he blames the Palestinian people. He'll say it's their own fault. It's Hamas. Hamas is underground in tunnels. And so we have to blow everything up and we have to use these buster bombs and decimate everybody. Oh, those babies are potential Hamas people, Hamas terrorists. So we had to kill them. We had to do it. Well, we had said for a while, Like during elections, especially when everybody is trying to be all pissed off over um people not getting behind Kamala Harris and wanting something different, wanting a better candidate. We were saying this is going to happen to us. We will be the Palestinians. Well, we're the Palestinians now. And it didn't even matter. Like they were doing it to brown people for a long time since Trump came in January of a year now, almost a year, a full year of him with his ICE agents and raiding and doing and killing. And he shackled up a bunch of brown people and sent them to the Seacot prison where they were raped and did all kinds of things to them. He did horrific things to brown people for a year. Nobody batted an eye. Well, now, guess what? It's a Washichu woman, a white woman. And people are saying, what? And then you have everybody, Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, everybody coming out, JD Vance, justifying the acts of the ICE agent, calling Renee Nicole Good a terrorist, a domestic terrorist, that she's misled. And you look at all of that. And then this ICE agent, he went and he was recording it as well. So you have different people recording while he's recording it as well. He's recording shooting that woman in the face. He's recording doing that. And he releases it. And this stupid alt-right podcast shows the whole video. So now it's all available. So you can go look at it. But it doesn't exonerate him. It doesn't exonerate him because it shows Renee Nicole Good saying, I'm not mad at you. Shows her waving on people to go around her, reversing to try to get out of the way so they can go around. And it shows the ICE agents being the aggressor. And they're trying to get her, open that car door and stuff. And I imagine she probably got scared. But it shows that she turned her wheel, like she wasn't trying to run over him. And there's so many different videos where they've taken that apart and looked at it. He was not in danger. And after he shoots her 3 times in the face, he calls her an effing bitch. Sorry, effing B. That's what he does. And so all of this is happening. All of this is happening. So here's the federal government following the same example of the gaslighting, the psychological warfare that the United States, CIA, and Mossad Israel's Mossad has been doing, the IDF, that they have all been doing, the psychological warfare, and then trying to name her, dehumanize her, and justify. So everybody's going to look at her and, oh, she was just a terrorist. Oh, she deserved that. Oh, that's. But we need to know that she was a mother. She was a mother. And so now her son is actually orphaned now because his father had passed away as well 6 months ago or something like that. And now she passes away. She's a daughter. She's a loved one. And she belonged to that community. And where she was killed, she gets killed right in front of her house. That's her house. Like, geez. So she wasn't just part of some terrorist case. She was a part of a family. And these guys wouldn't even let the doctors help her. No physician. That physician was saying, I'm a physician. I don't care. They said. It's the same thing that they did in Gaza. Attacking the people, attacking physicians, not letting them help the people of Gaza, destroying hospitals, all of that. So what protections do communities have when federal agents operate inside their neighborhoods? What protections? So when we think about that, like there is some things going on that we should be alarmed. We should hmm, so we should be very concerned about it. And so how do we know? Um, excuse me, geez. So President Starr comes out, he came out with a PSA or a news report stating that there were 4 Oglala Lakota tribal members who I guess are living on the streets. They're homeless, living on the streets in Minnesota on the Little Earth Reservation, I believe, or near the Little Earth Reservation. But ICE detained them, and so they are trying to find out who they are and where they went. What did they do with them? I also saw where what is her name? The president up there in Standing Rock, she issued a statement trying to figure out what they're doing with people, and then telling tribal members you need to make sure you have your identification. But I watched a TikTok, and these guys they were Indians, they were native on Little Earth, and they just roughed him up and took that guy and incarcerated him, and they really beat him up. It was like they recorded it. I saw another one where a group of tribal members got together and they were telling them, "You're on a reservation. You need to get out of here. You need to get out of here." And they backed ICE down, and um it looked like they got him to leave. But this might have been the repercussion of it, right? The retaliation of it. So then they caught this woman and her nephew, I think it is, and they just jacked him up and stiffed her up too in the face. And then they beat her nephew up and then took him out and just beat him up. And she was just crying and she's asking the cops, "Help us, help us." So what do we need to know? Like, Oglala Lakota people are tribal citizens and US citizens. ICE has no immigration authority over Native citizens. And people keep saying this, but I don't know. We still keep getting accosted. We still keep getting put in jail because we're brown people, right? And so one of the things that the surveillance of the Gaza people has helped Israel, and what Israel sells to the United States and to all these other Western countries and whatever for surveillance and surveillancing their people, is how to racial profile, how to misidentify, and then overreach. So federal overreach. So how do you do it and how do you justify it, right? And some of us are so like we have so much hate in our hearts for everybody around us or whatever. So then that hate then builds up into a place where we're like, they deserve it. Like on the reservation, they'd like all of us, right? They'd like all of us to be rounded up and incarcerated and put somewhere, maybe at CCOP too, in where was that? Wherever that country is, El Salvador. Maybe that's what they want for us, so then they can take our land. But the white rancher who thinks, "Oh yeah, that's what we need," they don't even realize that federal government is coming for them. JD Vance is coming for them. Like JD Vance wants all these ranchers off the land so him and the billionaire class can buy it up. and turn all those ranchers into slaves. But they don't get it, because their hearts are filled with hate. So they don't understand. They don't understand it. Like, they don't understand that they are their own demise. They're coming for them too. It's not just us. It's just not the white ladies either. Like, it isn't just the people in these blue states, because that's where Trump is targeting. And he's going after Minnesota because of that Somalia fraud stuff that came out. And that's like old, but they're bringing it out like it's brand new. And then they're tying it around Governor Walz and blaming him like he's involved in it. And so you see all of those people, they come out. And like the mayor speaks and tells ICE to get the F out of his city. Mike Wells says that he's going to get the governor. He says that he's going to bring in the National Guard to protect the people. But then they don't really do any. They don't even do a prosecution. And so I wanted to see if I can do this. I wanted to share a video. It's like amazing. This guy fired me up. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Make sure it's all ready to go. Oops. Share. I got to mute here first so that I can get it shared.
Literally position himself in front of Renee's vehicle. Yep. And shoot round after round after round into her. Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify every last single round. Yes, they are. Bring it out. He shot her 3 times in the face. We watched that man literally position himself in front of Renee's vehicle. Yep. And shoot round after round after round into her. Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify every last single round. Yes, they are. Bring it out. He shot her 3 times in the face. The rest of law enforcement made sure that no one in the crowd could render aid. There was an actual physician that said, hey, I'm a physician. Let me render aid. And they said, stand back and watch her die. And so our expectation is that in tragedies like this, law enforcement would undergo due diligence, determine whether or not a crime has been committed, and bring charges. Yes. And ultimately, for a jury, if this person appears, to bring a conviction. Now that's in the normal situation. Yeah. What we would normally expect to happen. But we're not dealing with normal times. These aren't normal situations. We have a federal government threatening other portions of its government and saying, if you hold anyone accountable, you'll be terminated. Say terminated. Terminated. You'll be fired. Say fired. Fired. You may be arrested. Say arrested. Arrested. And so they do nothing. We can expect nothing to come from the federal government. So what does that leave? It leaves the state. I'm here today to call upon our local officials to stand up. Say stand up.
Stand up.
And do something.
Do something.
Stand up.
Stand up.
And do something.
Do something.
Why did we send you here?
Yes.
If the county attorney won't prosecute,
Come on.
if the attorney general won't prosecute,
Come on.
if the governor won't order an investigation,
Come on. That's
right.
if the sheriff won't conduct an investigation,
Come on.
if the police chief won't conduct an investigation, and then if the BCA this morning will release a statement and say the feds told us to stay out of it, and then they say, okay,
Yeah. Right. Right.
we'll stay out of it. When have they ever done that? We cannot expect the federal government to do anything in this situation. And you all heard law professor Nikema say, we locally have the authority to investigate and to bring charges. Now, if a judge makes a jurisdictional determination later, so be it. But we expect this county attorney in this county, right here in Minneapolis, to bring charges.
Yes.
We expect this attorney general office to support any investigative needs, any charges that may be brought. The support coming from the top is what we need, because we will get justice nowhere else.
That's right.
They've already said it. They've already expressed it. We should not expect it. So we need our local authorities to stand up or tell us you are abandoning us.
Come on.
Tell us you are going to allow federal tyranny.
That's right.
We're talking about murder.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Say that you're going to leave us at the hands of a federal government that is unchecked, that has no checks, no balances. Tell us that you're going to allow them to murder us and do nothing.
That's right.
Then we can make a decision
That's right.
of who we need in those seats to protect and defend us.
That way.
Guys get fired up. It's like I listened to that and I was like, oh my God, I'm voting for that guy. I'm voting for him. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But his name is what is his name? Darius. I have to go find it. His name is Eliezer Darius. And Eliezer Darius, he lives in Minneapolis. And if I can get this thing to load, it says he is the executive director of Minnesota Freedom Fund and founder, Darius Consulting Group. Eliezer Darius is the executive director at the Minnesota Freedom Fund. He is also the founder and chief vision officer of Darius Consulting Group, where he leads efforts to dismantle barriers for formerly incarcerated individuals and build inclusive systems of leadership and opportunity. After being incarcerated as a teenager and spending close to 20 years in the criminal justice system, Eliezer has transformed his experience into a career of public advocacy and coalition building. He co-founded the Legal Revolution, the country's first program allowing incarcerated individuals to attend law school, and led Minnesota's Restore the Vote campaign, restoring voting rights to over 55,000 people. Through his Unlocked Success training series, he has equipped dozens of reentry staff and probation officers with tools to support individuals transitioning back to society. As policy and advocacy chair of the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce, he advances economic justice through reentry reform and policy change. Like, I'm like, yeah, this guy, this is it. Like we don't have anybody with this kind of fire. We don't have anybody. It's like, so I'm pretty fired up. I'm pretty fired up about it. Let's see. So one of the other things that I wanted to touch on before we wrap up time here on Toksa Hour is what is being faced, like in where Eliezer Darius is talking about like this. He's raising the federal and the state. So where are we in this? And so what happens? So we know that the founders, they wanted to have like this separation of powers. So they created like a legislative portion, they created an executive function, and they created a court, so this is supposed to balance out our powers. But then within that federal system, they also said that there is federal government, and then there's state government, and then there's tribal government. And then within the state governments, there are what they call local governments and then county governments. And so like Minneapolis would be a city and local government within the state of Minnesota. And Minneapolis is in the Hennepin County. So there'd be a county government. So like there's these things where they have to like work together and figure it out. And so does the federal government have the right to do that, to just bring in ICE agents and override the state government? And so, what do we do? Because it's not supposed to be that way. And Trump, even when he campaigned, he's all about state rights, right? Like he said Medicare, state rights. He dismantled a lot of things, like he's moving to get rid of the Department of Education, all of these different things he's working to do to empower the states. But when it comes to the states trying to stand up for themselves, like Minnesota, he's like, nope. Our Oregon, nope. Our Washington, nope. Our California, nope. New York, nope. Well, maybe like South Dakota, yeah, you're a red state. You've got a bunch of MAGA supporting people here. So yeah, you can go ahead and just continue terrorizing the brown people, the native people. You can just continue doing that, doing your white power, white is might, whatever stuff in South Dakota. You have the power. That's states' rights. Kristi Noem, that, yep, you have the right to do all of that. You have the right to just go and again, I'm going to say this. So when we're looking at surveillance and you look at Rapid City, what's going on in Rapid City police officers many of them go to Israel for IDF training. The IDF trains our police officers. This is well known. It's coming out in reports, whatever. It's out there. And so they are doing this. And so the surveillance. So they have taught Rapid City how to surveil the Indian community. But we are so like not even on it. We're not even in it. Like, where's Indian Collective? Well, Indian Collective is over in Minneapolis, kind of protesting over there. But yet they're doing absolutely zero to the surveillance and the issues that are happening to the Indian community in Rapid City. Our tribal governments aren't doing anything either. I mean, what we're doing is we're inflaming it because we're banning people, we're kicking them off the reservations, and we're forcing them into these areas, into Rapid City, because that's where they're going. And Rapid City then is creating, so like I was saying, your smartphones, your location settings, all of that. They can just drive around your block. They could drive around your block and everybody there, they can pull all your data. They can pull all your data and then they can track you and find out everything that you've done. They can do that. But we are not paying attention enough because we're too internally fighting each other that we're not even anything. And so I say to Frank Starr, like, are you speaking? What are you saying? To all our tribal presidents, what are you saying? Your chair people, what are you saying? What are you doing? Are you just picking your noses and just whatever? Like, is it true there's 4 people that were arrested by ICE that are Oglala Lakota that were homeless? Shouldn't we be mad? Like, that's what we need to be doing. It's exactly what that Eliza Darius is saying. We elected you guys to stand up and do something, to say something. And yeah, that's in Minnesota, but they're doing that to us in South Dakota too. And we need to be saying something and we need to have our presence. And we also need to be holding people like Red Dawn Foster accountable, holding Liz May accountable, Puri Puyer accountable. They are elected here, District 27. What are they doing? We vote for these people. Election time, petitions are going to be out probably now. Probably now. So we have to have experts and not the Washichu attorney experts. We need to educate ourselves. This is what the government is doing to us. They dismantled social studies. They dismantled science in our schools. Why? Because they don't want us to have civics. They don't want us to be able to understand and know what our rights are. They don't want us as Lakota people to understand what our role is in this Constitution. They don't want us to know. Article 1, Section 8 talks about Indian Commerce Clause. Congress has the power to regulate commerce with the Indian tribes. What does that mean in plain language? Tribes are political entities. They're not racial groups. States do not have inherent authority over tribes. Authority over tribes lie with the federal government unless Congress says otherwise. Tribes are recognized as sovereign governments, often described in law as domestic dependent nations. States cannot step in unless Congress explicitly authorizes. So that takes us to what happened in Minnesota on those reservations while the Congress passed a law, Public Law 280. If a state claims power over tribes, you should always ask, where did Congress authorize that? So they can claim it, the state's there, Public Law 280. South Dakota is not a Public Law 280 state. In 1953, House with the concurrent resolution 108 and Public Law 280 declared the intent of the United States to abrogate all treaties that it had made with Native people and abolish federal supervision over tribes. The resolution called for the immediate termination of several tribes at the same time. Public Law 280 allowed a number of states to assume control of Indian reservations before the policy was officially ended in 1966. 109 tribes had been terminated and another 1 million acres of Indian land was stolen. So we need to know that. So Minnesota, the state of Minnesota has a responsibility to protect their tribal nations from the federal government, because the federal government said, we don't want that, just that we're giving it to you. And so they have the responsibility to do that. I don't know. I got all fired up. You guys see, that's right. We needed our coffee and we needed that stuff. Get everybody fired up. So we need to have some education and we need to take some time to learn. So there was a question in the chat that I'll get to answering here. They asked, can you talk about the lie of Social Security and paying taxes? I'm not really sure where you were going with that question, but we pay, right? That goes in, that comes out of our paychecks, Social Security, and it goes into what is a fund that's supposed to be given to us back when we retire. And so Trump was proposing to withhold or to stop withholding taxes from Social Security. So once you start receiving your Social Security, what Trump is saying is that you would not have to pay, they would not take taxes. You would just get your, if it's 1,800 or 600, whatever it is, you just get a flat. You don't have to worry about taxes being taken out and that it's not going to be taxable income. So I don't know if that's where you were wanting to know or ask. And then there was another one. Did Trump cut off EBT again? And so, so what had happened? I don't think he cut off EBT, but I think that what he has done is put restrictions on it. So like you have in Minnesota, Trump has suspended about and this is the Guardian reports Trump administration has suspended about $129 million in food assistance and other federal benefit payments to Minnesota, citing alleged fraud and demanding the state to justify its spending. So they did that to Minnesota. In South Dakota, Dusty Johnson is the one that's proposing that you can only buy basically WIC items with your SNAP. So you can't buy anything else, basically, but WIC items. So I don't know. I know he's doing that, and then you also have to work. So in order to get EBT, you have to work, except for on reservations, they waive that because there's no jobs. I mean, this is the state we're in. Like there's no jobs, but they keep it that way. They keep it that way. And maybe we get mad. Maybe we get mad at tribal employees. Some of them barely making $10, $11 an hour. And we're mad at them. I don't know. We're mad at them, but the government doesn't give enough money. And then also the red tape. And then you have to look at where our government is. So tribal government, where they're at. And we have to remember we elect those people. So whatever we're getting out of that government, that's what we wanted because we elected them. We put them there. So we can't blame anybody but ourselves because we did that. It's the same in the state. Like if we don't participate and these people get elected, well, that's on us because we voted them in. We didn't care. So if there's no jobs, then that's just how that is. Because we keep electing people in that don't know how to create jobs and that don't know how to build infrastructure, that don't know how to do that. So we have to take some personal responsibility in that and do education. So that's what Toksa Hour, that was the intent of Toksa Hour in 2020 when we started this, is to bring education to talk about things, talk about uncomfortable things people don't want us to talk about, but we do. We become highly unpopular about it, but we continue. We're still here talking. And so if we want change, we have to actively get involved in it. But right now, I'm also saying that we need to be paying attention to the federal government. Like we could beat each other up on the main street of Pine Ridge every darn day if we want. But all while we're doing that, Donald Trump is doing this. ICE is doing this. And we are getting punished for it over and over and over because they micromanage us. They come in and they say, "Oh, look at what they did." So then we're going to cut their funding. Oh, look at what they did. But yet they're giving billions of dollars to the technocrats. Billions of dollars to Israel to invade Middle Eastern countries. Billions of dollars. But we're going to be over here and we're going to fight each other over this. And so hopefully we'll be able to transition and start building a voice. I hope Indian Collective actually gets on that too. I get tired of or frustrated with them. Not tired of them, frustrated. Because this is the thing that's coming out. So like Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, like those were great movements. So Indian Collective, great movement. But what they end up doing is absolutely nothing because all they end up doing is trying to raise money. So they pick and choose things that are actually do nothing because they become more of a fundraising organization than they are actually trying to make a change. And so you have to look at that. I do at least. So, oh my God. It was a great hour, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for continually being supportive of me. And again, you make sure that you email tokshahour@gmail.com. This is the cup. I've had it for 2 months. It's just been in a box. So we are live. This is Toksa Hour, trolling you from Porcupine Creek. But this is the cup. And I want to send it to you because it's my appreciation. So send me your mailing. Make sure I have your mailing address. And Raymond, you're way over there in Great Britain. Make sure you give me your address. I'm going to send you a cup. Send it over. I might get tariffs, so you might get tariffs, Steve. I don't know how that works, but I'll send it to you. So make sure that you guys give me your information and send it over to dokshahour@gmail.com. And as I was saying the last time, I'm working on my webpage. I'm kind of having a hard time right now because I have a glitch happening with I'm using apps that do not support Israel. So they don't support genocide. Anyway, so I'm using a platform for my webpage. And then I'm using an email. So I purchased an email from another organization that doesn't support Israel, and also your privacy is protected. And so I'm working to link those two, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. So today I'll have time to kind of fix it, and then hopefully I'll be able to do the big reveal of the web page and that. So the web page is going to include Toksa Hour, Substack, and then also the things that I put on TikTok. And eventually I'll have like a shop, and then my consulting. So I do consulting services for people to help them with policies or whatever, do audits or assessments, like they're looking to build something, or like how would they build an infrastructure for something. I do some of that work. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. And they say never tell anybody, because then all your haters are going to hate it and send bad prayers your way. So please don't do that. I should never said nothing. Hey. But you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you again. And again, I really like this cup. I just now got it out of the box.